Dankeschön und es tut mir leid, dass ich das auf Englisch mache, aber ich kann eure Frage auf Deutsch später antworten. Und ich habe ein bisschen Dopamin mitgebracht. So this shows you creatively everything what VO2, which is a AI video creator from Google, can do. Not everything, but some. So the taste of the future. And thank you very much for having me here to talk a little bit about riding the agentic wave. So we heard about this in the last couple of presentations, and I just want to give you a little bit of a view of what Google thinks about this and how we are looking into the future and supporting enterprises on this journey. So you probably know that Google has data at its DNA core. Our mission is to, I just forgot our mission. Yes, to organize the world's information and to make it universally accessible and useful. So this is something that we repeat on a regular basis, and it puts us in a good stead then to the AI world because information is key. And as early as 2018 already, our CEO was explaining that we will become an AI-first company, that he sees it as such an important direction for the future of businesses and tech and humanity, that this will be our focus. And so we've done a lot of investing and research even before that time, really looking at how we can make AI as a helpful tool for communities and for businesses. And as early as 2017 or so, our Google researchers were involved in creating the technology behind the paper, which created the style of transformation which is used now in large language models to really have brought us to the point today. So that was 2017, 2018. We keep going. We've been working on things like AlphaFold, which is really thinking beyond monetization, but what can we do to solve the world's biggest problems? And some things like how proteins are folded was something that humanity was really struggling with, and AI was able to, in a short period of time, through some deep scientific work, create an algorithm, a DeepMind, that has predicted the folding models of proteins. And in that time, we've actually open sourced all of that and made it into a database of protein folding models that now scientists and biologists around the world can use to really push the boundaries. And actually, two of our engineers won the Nobel Prize for chemistry last year for this accomplishment. So, I mean, really exciting things that is also being baked into a lot of the tools that we're using on a regular basis. So not only all of these innovations, but Google has been embedding AI in all of the consumer tooling from the very beginning since we've become an AI-first company. So Gmail, Calendar, Google Maps, Google Search. So really, I think building off of the momentum that we have in the market, we see how we've changed the way we've been working in the last months and years, up until today, where we have Gemini as our large language model, where we're coming out repeatedly with even new innovations and pushing the boundaries. So since Marcel gave the presentation last year, I think so much has changed. It's really hard to keep track of everything, even at Google. So I wanted to look a little bit at a high level view going forward. So also since 2018, we realized that this is not a black and white discussion. So there are certainly a lot of trade-offs that we need to discuss as the technology is applied and developed. So we have our AI principles, and we've been publishing these on a yearly basis. So you can actually look online and see, some of those dialogues about what decisions had to be made. And I think very important to keep this in mind, that we keep repeating this as a mantra. Things like be socially beneficial, be accountable to people, and this is what keeps the connection going. We're building things that will be helpful and ensuring that if there are any governance and processes that we can put in place to help make that a success, that's top of mind for us. And in that time, since 2018, I feel like Google has really come together to build a stack that's truly leading in many categories. So Gartner already recognizes us in many of the layers of the stack and how we're really addressing AI. So not only from an infrastructure layer, we have our own purpose-built chips, our TPUs that are specifically made for optimizing and efficiently running AI workloads, all the way up to data and the ML platforms behind it. But what I really wanted to emphasize here is just, I feel like coming from our past, a lot of the pieces of the work that Google has been doing are really coming together to have a unified stack that is made for AI innovation, which is really exciting. So as I mentioned, from the very bottom in the hypercomputing capabilities, all the way through the investment in research and the models that we make available on our platform, not only our own models like Gemini or our open source models like Gemma, but third-party models like Claude from Anthropic, Llama's Meta, even DeepSeek, bringing out these to give you the opportunity to use the latest and greatest, up to agents, which we'll talk about in the next part. So overall, our approach for AI and our platform is that we're optimizing it for AI specifically. It's open, it's multi-cloud. Google sees a really hybrid, multi-world where we're using so many different tools. The landscape is changing very often. We need to be really focused on how we work together and how we bring content and data together. And that's why interoperability is also such a key component for us. So overall, our motto when we talk about AI is to be bold, because the opportunity is huge. This can really change the way that we work together in businesses and also in our communities, but be responsible, because it is really a change, and we need to acknowledge that there are some risks at hand. And that's why I think together is the most important piece, so that we come together in communities like this and we discuss how things are working, what are the risks, what are the trade-offs, and how we can support each other to better implement that at our companies. So in partner engineering, I support our partner ecosystem like S-Peers, but also I talk to a lot of our customers on their journey and building out their Agentic Enterprise. And a lot of the questions that we hear not only talk about talent and data, which is very important, SAP as a core enterprise resource, but also when am I going to see the return? So we also heard that earlier. There's been a lot of playing around, a lot of sandboxing, a lot of POCs, but how can we really get the value out of these tools for our businesses? And I wanted to share a little bit of how I think about this in a layer cake of AI, which is also nice and colorful. So if you start thinking about not only the core of AI, which is the large language model, so this point that we're at, which is multimodality, it's speech, it's language, it's video, all come into kind of a foundation here in the corner. And then, how can you tune that for some specific use cases in kind of a general way, being able to support all general types of requests. Then how do you start tuning that for more specific types of requests for a certain type of horizontal use case? Maybe in Google, we have used some specific like text-to-speech algorithms or speech-to-video algorithms. This isn't necessary in the past. because now you have the multimodality. So actually, you don't necessarily need to have a specific type of algorithm to solve that. You can use general algorithms in a wider space, but new ways are coming where you can say, okay, maybe a more specific algorithm is fitting for my use case. And then what's most exciting are the vertical use cases. So this is where we really bring the business into all of this. And we show that technology can actually, even in low-code and no-code interfaces, help the business users directly create tech to change and improve their processes. So here's a little visualization of how much integration is needed to gain value on the long run. So you have your foundation models, which I mentioned, which are available to everyone. So these are really commoditized already, amazingly, in a short period of time. And new technology is coming, so very important that you have continued access to the technology as it evolves in the foundation. But what's really your competitive advantage? That's when we talk about your data and your workflows, and the more they're integrated into how you are delivering value, the better. What's also very interesting are the industry-tuned models. For instance, Google has a SEC large language model, which is for security. We have a med large language model for medicine. So it's really trained on the vocabulary and the sources that would be needed to support a much more complex domain. And actually, we just came out recently with Co-Scientist, which leverages some of these in really specific areas to ensure that it's really grounded in the knowledge base that's needed for the kind of decisions that are being made. So it's very exciting on the industry side. And then if we talk about data, then what else can we talk about other than SAP? For a lot of companies, this is where the core of their information lies. And here, just a little throw off to SAP that Google also is a heavy user. So Alphabet, our entire company, runs on SAP. And because we've been running on SAP for a long time and are a key partner with SAP, we also have been innovating within our SAP ecosystem. And so I feel like SAP is well positioned within our stack of AI-enabled tooling and AI-enabled products to really hit the Agentic Enterprise full on. So you probably know, for instance, that our SAP data and Google BigQuery, which is our petabyte scale data warehouse, are well integrated. And then through the data ecosystem within Google, you can really bring the SAP data into that value creation period and then start leveraging the AI tooling. We mentioned Cortex before. That's this framework that helps you extract and do a lot of the expected tasks with the data. So it really helps you just with standardization, makes you faster, makes you better integrated and better connected. And also with lots of industry use cases, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with from your individual departments and how you're using the SAP data. But I wanted to bring a quick example from Hannover Messe. So recently in Germany, one of the largest manufacturing and digital fairs. And one of the nice setups that we had was connecting Cortex and SAP to our manufacturing data engine. And the manufacturing data engine connects operational technology, all of the signals and the operational inputs, and brings that together with all of the business data from SAP. So it was really a great use case, showing how this enterprise data can then connect in real time with these business use cases for the industry. So the agentic SAP world, we already saw what SAP is building themselves, which is great. And then you can build on top of that additionally Google agents. You see the jewel right there in the middle. And then connecting in all of these third-party data sources. I think this is where it really gets interesting. How can you enrich your data with public data sets, with other third-party data sets? How can you break down those silos and bring a lot of the pieces together so that your agentic workforce really has the information that it needs? I just brought one example here, for instance, through the Cortex framework with our conversational analytics API, you can easily use natural language to talk to the data, and it's not just in the module where the data resides, but through BigQuery, which connects many of the different data sources together to give you a broader context. So back to our picture of where value accrues. So the proprietary data we're unlocking through SAP, but what about the workflows? So actually, when we think about workflows, a few years ago, or maybe 1 year ago, 2 years ago, we all thought about a chatbot. So kind of a single directional, maybe fed in with a few other pieces of information with RAG. This was kind of AI. This was an AI agent. Then you start building kind of an agent that is connected to complete a task, which does require some other sources. It's a mini application in itself. But what we're already at is these multi-applications orchestrated and working together. It's really unfathomable what can be done when you start thinking about how to connect those pieces. And actually, that's a very important part that a lot of times gets missed. So it's this ability to actually give the AI itself some agency. And we want to ensure that the human can be kept in the loop where necessary, that it's working in a beneficial way. So obviously, there's a lot of insurance and vetting that needs to go on the side, but taking advantage of the ability of a non-deterministic system to be fed with information and come up with a creative solution, I think will really revolutionize a lot of ways that we work. And that's where you're going to get the most value for the business. And that's also, I think, great news for the SAP audience, because you've been working with these processes and these workflows, and perhaps the standard way that it's done, but you also can see, because our human brain is also great at making some of these connections that we've struggled to teach computers how to make. And now is a way for us to really embrace that in a true agentic approach with your data. And unfortunately, not so many companies are here yet. So I think this is maybe the next stage for everybody going forward, is really redesigning these workflows, incorporating in the proprietary data and even more sources, and really building then off the technology advances in the foundation layer. What's also very important, which Mark, you touched on, is a culture of innovation. So a lot of that can happen. IT can, you can see that. Developing a culture of innovation is core kind of to encapsulate this, because of course the tools can be made available. But if the people don't know how to apply it, feel uncomfortable maybe in testing it, don't feel like they're brought along on the journey, this is something that we will struggle with, because it needs to go hand in hand, the technology steps and the people that will work with it. So when you think about innovation, when we talk about that at Google, we talk about having a curiosity mindset. We talk about working towards a shared vision. So there, setting that up for your company and where you want to achieve gives you that flexibility to use agents and also, bring people along with you in a more open space. An open space for risk-taking, an open space for failing. So again, even in this environment, we need to make space for innovation and letting people experiment with the technology. And then on the far side, you might see something called agent space, boom, which has been quite a topic for us at Google, because again, it comes a lot of these capabilities that we've been building over the last years together. So agent space will sit on top of all of this enterprise data that you have, and it will work as if it's Google search in an AI context. You can actually enable Google search as well. So you bring in the public data. You can also turn it off and ensure that you're working encapsulated within your own enterprise base of knowledge. And I think agent space, sitting on top here of our quite strong AI embedded stack, is a really exciting moment, because it lets then individual users within a company build these agents for themselves. So it lets you take your prompts, it lets you start creating agents, it lets you find agents that other teams have created. It lets you start to build on top of that and create some of these agentic orchestration systems. So it's really kind of a connection point for all of your information in the enterprise. So really organizing your enterprise's information, making it universally accessible and usable and AI activated. This is quite a busy slide, but I just wanted to share instances, for instance, the multimodal aspect of it, so you can feed it pictures, it can create videos for you, and also the connectors into the enterprise sources. So we have quite a few that are already available, and then some in the works. So the major SAP connectors are still in development, but they're coming soon, and you can already access through Google Cortex the data in BigQuery, for example, if you have the data there. So I think from my perspective, the moment that we're in right now is actually like quite an exciting moment. We call it the 10x moment, but actually I think it's more of the Gemini moment here, because we have a breakthrough technology. We have exciting challenges in the world, we make it a positive thing. Exciting challenges that we can tackle together, from climate change to resources to optimization and human knowledge. And how can we apply AI here? It's really a sweet spot. And I just want to encourage you, like you said, to really think big, because this isn't like how we've been doing business in the past. It's moving also quite fast. So you need to catch the wave in order to really take advantage of it. But the technology is really here for that now, and available for business users as well as technicians. So don't hesitate. I'm hoping, yes. Yes, so I think we can do something amazing together. And I would just like to thank you and S Peers for having us here.